Welcome everyone to the Vermin Sermon. Today we have an extremely special guest. We have StraightUpHippo. I
Extremely
never
special.
would have thought that in the entire life of this podcast, which is probably gonna die by April, I don't actually know. But hey, let's hope that doesn't happen. That we would have anyone of this magnitude. So, with
Yo, relax.
Guess
extreme
what?
honor.
Guess
Nah,
what,
it's here we have StraightUpHippo. Introduce yourself.
Wagwan.
There we go. Great introduction.
Wagwan. We have arrived.
Yeah. So for all the 6 viewers who usually watch this thing, if you don't know who
I love
Cam
you,
is, just like get out of the rock you're living under. For all the rest of the
Don't say
people,
that.
we're
Yo, you need to stop
small.
gassing me up, you know.
Hey, it's what a host of any such
mad.
Man,
thing
that sounds
would
like you
do.
need to get
Okay.
gassed up now.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm being announced onto a stage or some shit. Like, to get in the streamies.
on this like
thanks
six
for the streamies.
on this six
Wow.
viewer
Streamies
like
presented
6
by the
to
Vermin
8 view
Sermon.
podcast. All right. So, anyways, let's just get right to it. Very recently, it was announced that Ghost Games would no longer be the developer for Need for Speed, and a lot of stuff has happened in the community since then, and I think it would be a great opportunity to talk about it. So, I wanted to start with my initial thoughts. I think that what's going to happen is either not much is going to happen at all, or we might see some slight improvements. I really don't think it's a huge deal. I think people are blowing things out of proportion. And also, much of what I think is because I don't want to be extremely excited only to be disappointed, or I don't want to come into it with a negative perspective to begin with. The thing is, there are so many factors, and there's so much stuff that we just don't know. We're not part of these teams. We don't know what's actually going on. And I have loads of other points about it too. Many of them I think were already addressed in one of your videos, Cam. So I think due to the fact that so many people in Ghost were ex-Criterion developers, some are ex-Playground Games developers, some are from all across the place, that because now with what is happening, I don't think it's a huge deal. I think it's something to be a little excited for, but I think people are blowing it way out of proportion. You guys' thoughts?
I have one that's interesting. Is one thing that's super important, especially when it comes to reporting on that news. Wording. Don't say shut down, because that seems like you're fucking gone. You're all dead. No,
Yeah.
they're just
They're
taking
moving.
what they say is a support role, which is essentially for other titles. Essentially, they'll make DLC, which is ironic because we never really got any for Heat. Surely they do that. But and also aren't some, I don't know, where did I hear this? Or maybe I just fucking imagine things. Where aren't some people from Ghost getting moved to Criterion?
Yes.
Yeah,
So what
quite
essentially
big-
sounds like when you
big-
said
big
that
bunch of people.
Ghost at X Criterion, and then there's going to be X Ghosts at Criterion, it sounds like they're trying to pull all the talent they can into this one studio from both. Which
Yeah.
honestly, that's why odds are, who knows if it will be good, but it sounds like, if anything, it sounds like what the headline should be would be Ghost
Rebrand as Criterion.
literally it's like that.
Yeah.
It's essentially like Ghosterion.
I think
Yeah.
it's good for two reasons. Number one, obviously, it's like more people working on the game,
Mm-hmm.
so that's only going to be a good thing. That's only
Yes.
going to be better. The fact they can get more people, but then also it's like it's the studios, like the ethos. Like Criterion have like a streaming area in their studios. They're always active. They were the first to tweet when it happened. Like it's just a different company atmosphere. As where Ghost is quite closed. You never really know what's going on unless
social.
like, you know, a community manager says. It just seems like the overall atmosphere of the studio is just different. So I think that's going to help as well a lot. I think there's only positives to take out of this. I don't understand anyone being negative towards it.
Mhm.
It's going to be a kind of something we haven't seen before. from a studio making similar games that we already know, sort of thing. I think anyway.
Yeah.
Do you know what I will say though?
That's it.
The one thing that is the negative, if it does happen, is that 30 developers' jobs are at risk.
Yeah.
And I wonder,
That's quite disappointing.
I wonder if some of those people like were removed, would that like? I wonder if it's like, because they said that the creative branch goes 100% A-OK, probably a priority to keep. If anything, they might get thrown to fucking Criterion.
To be fair, I think with these people, these are probably the ones doing the worst. People who can't move because they are local to in Gothenburg, wherever the place is called. So like they probably are the ones who just get shafted by Thanos or just live close. And also, as I said, you can't really see negatives on here. And we can't say anything anyway because we don't know what's going to happen for the future of this game or for the next game or whatever. So anyone who's saying it's going to be really shit is either misinformed or just like thinking with their with the feelings rather than the facts.
You're not thinking.
And I think but some of the reasons
What we've been presented with is that no, Ghosts aren't getting shut down. If anything, all the actual talent that probably contributed the most to their Need for Speed games over the years are getting moved to Criterion.
They're getting upgraded. They're getting upgraded. That's what is literally what's happening.
It's an evolution.
On a new level.
And then
people like that's a design joining, so that's not like
Ghost Games evolves into Criterion.
the 30 people that are losing their job, yeah, it's shit, but it's just part of the business, isn't it? Like,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that is just life. Like, sometimes life is shit, and it's a very, very blunt way of saying it. And obviously, at the moment, those 30 people are the most important things because they should be like, hopefully, they get the shit resolved, etc., etc.
Oh, yeah.
But it is just part of being in the business, isn't it? That's literally it.
That's the only
Exactly.
actual negative thing, not the direction of this video game. Like if we actually think about it. But I wanted to talk about that a little bit. You see, there's quite a big difference between a game's direction and what actually comes out of it. And what I mean is, you see, if we look at Need for Speed Payback, it's kind of hard to decipher what the game wanted to be. And I think, I could be wrong, the creative lead left, and then they had a different guy come in. I think William Hall. And then that big shift probably caused a number of issues. And so, here's the thing. We all, if you guys don't know, Need for Speed Most Wanted 2012 was originally going to be more of a spiritual successor to Most Wanted, except something changed, and we had the Most Wanted that we have today. So, we don't know what actually goes on. We don't know if the creative lead is going to stay the same, and I have reasons as to why I think we can reasonably assume that the Need for Speed games going forward are still going to stay underground. Need for Speed 2015 was a sort of a reboot of the series. You see, when Underground and Underground 2 came out, it was kind of a new idea of, hey, illegal underground street racing with tuners, not just standard illegal, rich expensive cars and supercars and all that stuff, which is, great, fine. But Need for Speed 2015 kind of cemented the idea that this is what Need for Speed is, and I think it would be crazy for EA to, or whoever's in charge, whoever makes these decisions, to have the next game be another Hot Pursuit. And I don't even think it would be that bad if it were to be another Hot Pursuit. But I don't think we can come to conclusion that the next game is going to be a Hot Pursuit style game. I think that's irrational.
I wouldn't mind it, but at the same time, like I'm sick of Need for Speed relying on its history.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you can only like lay back on like your achievements are so fucking long.
You've done Underground again with Need for Speed 2015. All that shit. Just give me fucking Tokyo Nights. I've been asking it for years. Like, do some new shit. Like, literally, you can have the cops still, all of that, and then just make it urban car culture Japan, something that's never been done before, instead of all this bullshit, which you're gonna recreate the same game you've made. Like the last 10 years, like we've already seen Offshoot, we've already seen Most Wanted. Let's do something new. That's what I want.
Also, remember, Underground is like nearly 20 years old, so then it'd be rehashing an idea like for nearly 2 decades, which is just stupid and it's just
funny.
It's boring. Go on.
I just realized. Remember when in Need for Speed 2015 they kind of did shit alongside Speed Hunters? Fucking get them to help.
Oh, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, so
Oh, they
Speed
did Speed Hunter Showdown.
Speed Hunter is actually owned by EA. I don't know if you guys know.
Yeah, I
that.
know, but like,
Yeah. On every
get
article.
them.
Probably.
That's just a big bane
Christ,
moment.
man, help. With a vision, you can help them. It's like, okay, we want actual, like, car culture shit. Just
They're
ask
in heat, aren't
them
they?
how. Well,
That's
their
true.
name is,
Yeah.
who fucking knows what heat is? Reheated
Yeah.
mints.
We hit a 20-year-old mints. Well, need 20-year-old mints. I say.
It's just weird. It's like, okay, but that's the thing. It's like, if they used the Underground 3 name and like, yeah, it was the thing, but it was quite poorly done. Then they just, as you said, relying on a name. Like,
Yeah.
use Speed Hunters to throw in there, but you could have literally just called it Showdown, and it would have made no fucking difference.
Yeah.
That's true.
Especially with the 9th generation, it's gonna like usher in a new layer of improvement in technology where they're able to do break new boundaries with these consoles. But if they do the same shit, they're gonna most likely limit themselves, and it's gonna be a boring game and experience.
Imagine the
I think that's
idea
true.
of a Speed Hunters like Need for Speed game.
An actual
Oh, so
Speed
that
Hunters,
it's
like,
That's
kind of.
never been done before.
they go
So
everywhere
would
too.
that be a little bit more like Pro
Uh-huh.
Street, but a little bit more illegal, maybe?
I'll take
Or am
an
I
illegal
stupid?
Pro Street as far as.
My
Yeah,
idea
a
was just
little
Tokyo
kind of-
Nights, but like Tokyo Nights, but anywhere with more of a car focus. Like,
Do you know what they could do?
Yeah.
They could just make a map, and you could ask the Speed Hunters, the photographers, where they've been to all these locations of the world.
Oh.
What are
yeah,
your
that'd be
favorite driving
genius.
roads? And we'll just put them in a map.
mate, the Speed Hunters sounds like a perfect like name for like the bosses.
Sounds like, yeah, it sounds like a
Whoa!
fucking-
I want to talk about something. Okay.
Go on.
For the next Need for Speed game, please give me some actual bosses. Please. I remember I was in a voice call when Heat came out, and I was facing the 2 or 3 bosses that there are in Heat, very minor and insignificant. I was like, oh wow, I'm excited for the rest of the boss races. Little did I know, that was it. That was
Yeah,
it.
there's
And
not
then
one.
the final race in Need for Speed Heat is basically a burnout mission.
It's not really
Score
it's not really
takedown.
a race technically. It's not
Takedown.
about it.
But that was what I thought was interesting.
Not even
about-
Burnout, because Burnout did that shit good.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
fun. Like,
Just
that
this
was boring.
awkward
I
chase.
enjoyed.
So
And then we
sick
had
of
some shit clipping issues. So
blaming Burnout's name. Everyone's sitting here shitting on Burnout.
Yeah, no.
Bro.
Yeah,
No.
but
Burnout,
let's
the
say, like,
Burnout games were
Burnout.
we
fucking
ain't shitting on Burnout.
one bad
Revenge.
Burnout game. Not
Three.
one bad Burnout game. Fuck off.
No.
I can't wait. I really don't think there was any real bad Burnout game. At least
No,
in the
there
main
wasn't.
series.
That's the funny thing. Like,
I'd agree.
I was like, oh yeah, Burnout. I was like, bro, they have a bit of hit rate than Need for Speed. Like,
Like
think
literally,
what you're talking
Paradise is literally changed the game. Burnout
Burnout
3
Paradise was
also
legendary.
changed the
I
game.
agree.
2 and 1 got themselves like where they need to be. Burnout
3.
is one of the best like franchises, racing franchises. It's up there with Midnight Club. So
Yeah, you see
when
it.
anyone slains their name, go fuck themselves.
You know,
need to kill yourself.
honestly,
I'll
talking
say
about
that right
Paradise.
away.
I think
Uh,
that's just because Burnout wasn't milked as much if you think about it, because obviously Need for Speed's been going for 25 years now,
Mm.
Need for
and-
Speed.
Yeah, it's
and the
true,
creative
but-
direction's been a bit lacking.
But to be fair, like, what Need for Speed is like, look at all the weird places where Need for Speed like went. With so there you go. It's insane.
Yeah. I wanted to talk very briefly, going back to, you mentioned Paradise. Before I preferred Burnout 3 over Paradise by a huge margin, but after playing through it again on the remaster, I think I might even be leaning towards the remaster, in my opinion, being better. And it's honestly, there's so much polish to everything in Burnout. It's unbelievable. There's polish and there's direction and the game's optimized, and it's hard to come up with negatives. And if anything, that should have, well, I was gonna say that should have
Oh my
people
God.
more excited for the fact that Need for Speed is now being made by Criterion. But again, the people are different,
Hey,
so it
Dev.
you can't really, yeah.
I just realized something. Imagine you're clipping issues in a Burnout game.
Oh.
Random time you clip
Oh
over them.
no.
You can't say that that's cursed. That's...
That would be horrifying.
But also
That would be
for
horrible.
Triple
Burnout,
barrel roll.
You run up doing a barrel roll by
6
accident.
times barrel roll.
You get a vertical takedown by accident because you clip on top of them.
Yeah, Burnout 3, Burnout
Oh.
Paradise, genuinely games that like
Revenge
shook
is-
the racing industry.
Oh yeah,
Like,
no,
every
3 was
single game nowadays has inspiration from Paradise, whether you like it or not. Like, and that's just a case
and
of it.
3 takedown.
How long did Burnout Paradise take to be made?
I heard that they I don't have sources for this. I heard from somewhere that they started working on it after 3 and then had some people make a Revenge. So I think they've been at it for a while, but I actually don't know.
I'm pretty sure they made Legends as well in that time.
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
yeah, Legends.
Legends
PSP
was like
great.
3 on the
Yeah, it was like a combination of 2 and 3.
yeah.
So some
banger.
cars and
That was.
tracks from 2 and stuff like that. 3 was really
Okay.
good. Or Legends. Well, 3 and Legends
It,
were good.
it does explain the attention to detail and polish,
Mhm.
but again, that's just probably some other stuff that can go into that as well.
Yeah. Oh, yes. So I think, let's suppose, even though again I think it's unlikely because EA has seen people support Ghost, even having made mediocre games just based on game direction and customization and tuner culture alone, people have stood by Ghost. So again, I don't think that's gonna happen. But suppose that the next Need for Speed game would be a Hot Pursuit style game. Now, for me personally, on a subjective level, I would not be happy. But I think that would be good for the series, and I can explain that. It doesn't appeal to me personally, but that doesn't mean it's going to be good for the series, because if the games aren't polished, then I don't think it's good for the series in any way, shape, or form. If the game is polished and it's a Hot Pursuit style game, maybe I'll get it when it's half off or something, but that doesn't mean it's not a good game. There are games I think are good, but I just don't like. Hot Pursuit 2010 being one of them. But again, it's still unlikely that the next Need for Speed game will be a Hot Pursuit styled one.
I think though at this point, the game just has to be good and solid from the start.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't even care.
I don't give a fuck what game they give me. Just as long as it's good, I don't
They
care.
can call
long
it
as it's not
India
trash.
Days, bro. They can call it India Days.
They can call it Need for
They can call it
Need for Arthritis.
Racing auto rickshaws and everything.
Rivals 2, Payback 2, call it whatever the fuck you want to call it. I don't give a shit as long as the game's good. I don't
Yeah,
give
Rivals
a fuck.
back
Like,
2015,
names are
I
names
don't
now.
fucking
Like
care.
I'm past the point. Like every single year since I've been covering Need for Speed games on my channel, they've been let down every single time. Other than Need for 2015, I'm sick of it. I just want a good game. I don't give a fuck what it's called. I don't give a fuck if it's tuners, customization, no customization. I like cars, so if there's cars in it, I'll like the game. Just like, give me a
That's
good
the
fucking
thing about
game. That's literally,
2015.
genuinely, I'm not even joking. No, that's the thing. Like that's genuinely how I feel. Like having made videos on it for so long, like I literally do not give a fuck what it's called, any of that, as long as it's actually a polished game that I can actually play.
I can taste your disappointment, man.
I just realized, I can feel that anger.
Yeah.
I just realized something. You know, you said, fuck names? Remember, the reboot in 2015, they didn't even give it a name.
Yeah, bro.
That was just Need for
This is
Speed.
Need for Speed.
We just call it 2015 because it came out then. They had no name for it. Which,
Yeah.
like, fuck, look at that. It's a yeah, names don't fucking matter. And the thing is, and that was a perfect storm. Like, I've even said about this with that wording where, like, the timing of when they revealed it with, like, how Need for Speed was, like, the fans were really, like, desolate about getting another type of urban setting like that. Along with the community feedback, how they interacted on their social platforms, like, that's
It's
what
not
it
even
was
anything.
amazing.
It's not even anything to do with that. It's
This
in
pure
Need
luck.
for Speed 2015. Think about the amount of new customization we got for
Oh,
one
hell
day.
yeah, like, that was insane. Remember the...
Think
I
about
remember
how
when I
fresh
first
that
looked at
felt.
the
We haven't
180.
had that for years.
Yeah.
Now,
I remember
if you scroll forward all these years, we haven't had that amount of volume of new things since then.
We've lost things. We lost because they lost the
Oh,
Kaki
yeah.
Water license. We don't have that kid anymore. You have to fucking
And it's
hit
not
file.
fresh. It's not new because it's been 3 entries on. That's the reason why. Backtracking a little bit to what we were talking about. We were talking about names and stuff. I don't get why people have an affiliation with names and like allegiances to brands. I have zero allegiances to
Well, it's-
any fucking
That's how it
brand.
should be.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
do you
do
know what,
not give a fuck.
Cam?
Like if it's Forza Need for Speed, I think on the same level playing field. But then at the
Cam.
same time, within Need for Speed, there's like sub series. I don't
Yeah.
get how people are so like
Underground 3.
Yeah, or like hot
Need to get
shoot
shot
or whatever.
Oh,
I just
like,
don't
imagine-
get
Hey,
it.
look, if you see this and you want Underground 3, you need to get shot right now.
Okay.
I
All
put
right.
down my mustache. You need to get
All
blamed.
right.
No, but
So-
talking about that, it's like the same people who have allegiances to like designer clothes. Like, what? Why is the name
No,
so
it's not though.
important?
It's not though, because like okay, that's different. That's like
Yeah,
I
Okay,
understand
okay,
that
we're not
more.
getting into the specifics of that. But
I understand
it's like,
that more than people who stand underground.
Honestly,
You need to be underground if you stand underground. 6 feet fucking under. Just relax, bro.
Okay.
2020.
But you don't-
I think with this, it's just because like people see who play their favorite games, like YouTubers, celebrities on the internet, and whatever they believe in, they like. Like you've seen it all the time with loads of different things, not just games. Like they might like a certain thing because a certain maybe YouTuber does it, or a Twitter person does it, or celebrity, whatever. You see it all the time. It goes and comes and goes.
Yeah, and I think with
You
names,
fucking
it's
losers.
because people associate
know.
feelings with names, and they don't think with their brains. They just think about what they feel when it comes to that.
Unfortunately, that's
And-
just being human, isn't it?
Yeah, and
When
that's
that from
that's how
Zogan,
Well, it's being a fucking idiot.
and that's how I reacted initially. I actually initially
Well,
some people anyway.
what to hearing about Ghost leaving was I felt just a little bit bummed but I now realize I felt bummed because of the way, like, the feeling I get when I think about Ghost and what they did in Need for Speed 2015, not because of the actual games that they made, not looking at them. It was just the feeling that I had, and then it, I thought about it. I was like, wow, no, I shouldn't think like, oh, Ghost is leaving, customization's gone, but
It's gone. It's over.
it's over. It's
Fucking
gone.
Dunzo.
Yeah, let's just throw away the fact that we've been rebooting Need for Speed and now it's gonna go back again. Like,
Yeah, we're gonna
Yeah.
how
That would be a great
short-sighted,
idea.
Like,
we're gonna
absolutely
reboot
don't get it.
It's like you're doing the same fucking thing. You're running in a circle like an animal. Like you're something. You need to break the cycle. Like you're gonna reboot the reboot of the reboot.
isn't that something like because it's associated with it? It is treated in a certain way.
Yeah,
Say.
it's
Yeah,
just
there's
shout
a
out,
status
the
of
feeling.
nostalgia. And
What's
that.
his name? Vaz from Far Cry 3. The definition of insanity is doing the same
Yeah,
thing
I'm-
over and over again, expecting different results.
Yep.
That is literally Need for Speed in a nutshell.
Shut my eyes.
Someone
Yeah,
from EA took that
actually.
to heart and has been carrying that ever since in the brain.
They got that on the mood board.
The mood board.
They got that on the mood
That's,
board.
that's the
Vaz
only
with
thing on the
fucking-
mood.
Oh, you know what would be
That's a
absolutely
great game, Far Cry
hilarious?
3.
Be absolutely
What?
hilarious is if back to names. If they the Need for Speed Underground 3 and it's a Hot Pursuit styled one. Oh, that would just be so funny.
That's
That would
a
be so
troll.
funny.
No,
I wouldn't even
no.
care.
That's so troll.
I think I'd
People
quit
be
doing YouTube
pissed.
videos. I wouldn't even want to be there for the backlash.
Fuck no. That sounds like you
I
need
just
to
need
stop
to be
playing Need
like
for Speed.
I'm gone.
Oh,
Fuck no.
man.
That's called leaving.
Yeah.
What about if they do Need for Speed Hot Ground flavored game?
No. That just sounds like a shitty app you'd see in the Play Store with like
Yeah.
screenshots from the actual
Hot
games.
Ground.
Mobile. Yeah, that sounds like a
ripping off
fake.
from.
The desire
Yeah.
for velocity, hot ground.
The
Purchase a
desire
mobile
for
store.
velocity?
No, right now.
Super,
Fuck's sakes.
Super Street Underground 2.
Yeah.
The,
Can't beat something that's cursed.
I want to say as well, like Most
Yeah,
Wanted
go
and
on.
that. I don't think Most Wanted. Like I've seen a lot of comparisons recently to Heat to Most Wanted. I still don't understand how any Ghost game compares to any Black Box game in any stretch of the
I
imagination.
would argue. Okay, I would make the argument that Ghost's best games might compare to Black Box's worst. Like Undercover was still okay. I'd still consider Undercover a better game, but Undercover. I'm being honest.
Depends.
Undercover's a little bit mediocre to me. I think so. I
Is
think
it any less mediocre than Heat? No,
so.
it's not.
Let me think on that.
Honestly, no. I would argue
depends
that
on the
because
part
of
of the
Heat's
game they
day
look
and night cycle and the new mechanic and everything, that it, although being mediocre in terms of execution of things,
Execution.
I don't quite think it's that mediocre. I still think it's worse.
That's
because
not
I
bad.
I remember Undercover's handling being really annoying, but I don't remember clipping to the ground and then flying at a different planet.
Yeah.
So
It plays well. That's
yeah.
the thing.
It plays fairly well. Okay, I'm being honest. I don't like the way a car's handling undercover.
There's
at all.
just so much more
Kinda janky.
content though, right? So if you compare it from a content perspective,
Oh,
you got
no, for
multiplayer, free roam,
Challenge
multiplayer
series.
cops and robbers,
They-
challenge
they
series,
added-
Challenge series. Yeah, okay, yeah, you won me over.
Yeah.
What challenge series?
bigger
Yeah,
car
it's
list, more customization, like
Vita.
not even a question.
No, you got me. It's Vita.
Do you think they'd even
Fucking
bring challenge series back?
They should.
Um,
or something
No,
like
no,
that.
they shouldn't. They should not bring it back because they've got so many other things they need to fix.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
Oh,
I mean,
no,
if that was
that's
fixed,
Core
I-
level.
no,
Oh,
I
if
mean,
we're
if
talking
that
like
shit
that,
was
they're
fixed.
fucked. They suck dick. They ain't doing
Yeah.
shit. They ain't fixing anything.
The thing is, they've got so many things to fix. I don't think that's even I don't
No,
even think
no.
it's in the realms of possibility.
Yeah.
Because think about it, you got the whole of the world to fix because you clip through the ground.
Do they even have
You've got
PvP?
You've got,
Just
you've got
like
the
in real
same.
life, man.
You've got the same 400 plus races that everyone does because everything else is 200, but no one plays
Yes,
200.
yes, yeah, and I made
So-
it that point
Yeah,
in
that's
my
annoying.
video. I think there, just as there are races with 2 options for AI recommended difficulty, there should be a third or second option for those that don't. That it matches your car's AI level or your car's level. Just because I don't want to have to pause the game and take out performance parts. That's so unintuitive. And then also, you could make the argument that Heat's selling point is the day and night mechanic. When after you get the FXX Evo and you hit rep 50, there's no purpose to half the game. Half of the game is functionally useless.
Well, that's what I was about,
I
that's
think
what I
that's
was
a
about to
pretty
go
big-
on to. They need to add a whole multiplayer component because at the moment Heat is a single player game.
I wanna
You can play
fucking
it like
refund
there's
for
no
that game.
multiplayer component to that game at all, other than the asynchronous stuff, which is broken because the
Yeah.
checkpoints don't work. Are you
Yeah,
seeing
yeah,
how
you-
many? I can literally go
Remember-
on for days and days. The cars they've added, no one asked for a P1 GTR.
Yo,
Everyone
Kim,
asked for an
Yeah.
S14, an Eclipse, an RX-8. They're still not in the game in fucking.
how do I get a refund now?
Am I going
You're-
on?
you're-
The story
That's
was
sick.
6 hours long. Karoo beat it in 2 hours.
Less than 2 hours. Less
Like,
than 2 hours.
I can literally go
Oh. And there's
on,
no
and
skips or
on
anything.
and on and on. There's still no track width in the game. You like some cars are broken because for the customization. There's no neon wheel for RGB, neon shit. There's only these stupid select colors. So if you want yellow,
Even
you can't
Super
have
Street
it.
did
Can't do
that. Even Super
Like,
Street.
you can't change the
Super
front and back rims at the same time.
You could do that in
like,
Pro Street in
You can do that in
07.
every single fucking game.
2006.
No, a
2007.
game from 2007 where half of Black Box made that while the other half started working ahead on Undercover. That was the kind of the story of Pro Street.
Yeah.
So when they're like,
But
okay, we need to quickly get a game out. At least they made sure it did that.
The rap editor
okay.
has not seen an upgrade at all since 2015. Like, you see how many, like, as I'm listing off these problems now, it's not just in one area of the game. It's in
Yeah, no.
absolutely every
Oh no,
single
that's why I
area.
don't.
It's
That's why I don't
crazy.
like thinking about
And
it. 'cause the
everyone's
more I
out here
think
praising
about
this
it,
game. It's very
Yeah.
shit. It's mediocre.
The
Like, it's
more you say
literally-
this, the more I want a refund. Give me my fucking money
The
back.
thing is, I can actually go on. Like, I genuinely have more off the dome. Like, I can
Yeah,
genuinely
yeah.
carry on going.
Yeah, I
Give me
think
my
We
fucking
don't need a
I-
refund. We just need to be paid to play the game because we're like beta testers.
I don't even want that. I don't. No, that's herpes. I don't even want to play the game when you
no,
talk about
honestly, okay. I still, whenever if I do like, oh, I have 10 minutes to relax or whatever, do some night races and get the cops on or whatever. I still have a fairly decent time at it, but I don't think that's because they've made a good game. I think that's just because I'm personally enjoying it. I think
I
that
don't.
there's a
I've
difference.
not done that since November.
that. So,
Yeah, that's not a good
And I
sign.
make
I've seen
videos on the fucking game every single day. Like, I've not sat down and thought I'm gonna get into a cop chase since November.
Okay, yeah, that's different. I admit my biases though. Like I'm.
Yeah.
It's not because Ghost have crafted a masterpiece. It's because I still find the game fun. But again, that's separate from how good it is.
Yeah. It just makes me like think, why do people still support the studio and like make it out like it's like Jesus is being murdered
why
again?
they still
You know
support
what?
them? You can fuck yourself.
And
I don't know your word that.
Oh,
Fuck
no.
yourself, Ghost.
But no,
That's
you
crazy.
imagine the only what if all of this was because a higher up at EA said, hey, the fans are demanding underground style tuner culture. This new studio Ghost, whatever, that doesn't matter. Let's just tell them to make an underground style game. And the only reason, imagine if the only reason people are praising Ghost is actually because of one person's decision. It's
Who
possible.
not even in Ghost and
Yeah,
in
yeah,
EA.
yeah, it's possible. I'm not saying that's what happened, but it's possible.
Praise EA.
Oh man.
But now, take that little rant I went on, yeah. So keep that all in your mind, all of those problems. Now, tell me one thing that is wrong from a gameplay perspective with Forza.
I'm
okay.
To that degree, that is
gameplay.
game breaking. That is game breaking.
Okay,
That's
that
what
game
I'm
breaking,
thinking of.
nothing. There's nothing in Forza that's game breaking. Nothing
Okay,
that physically feels.
and also with
unnatural
that,
and whatnot.
so like staying on that same thing, tell me one thing that is game breaking with Hop Shoot 2010.
I don't think there's anything game breaking. I really
Nothing.
don't. I really don't like
No,
Hop
but I
Shoot
played through that
2010,
game recently.
and I want to.
Because of that, I think they should use a different engine for the next game. But because of the way EA works, I don't think they're gonna do that unless it's.
I don't think Frostbite's a
decision.
problem.
I don't. I
No,
know.
no.
I don't know.
No,
enough
I'm
about game engines.
on about with the people who are working on it. I'm guessing.
I don't care. Like it's literally
Yeah,
not a
no,
problem, bro.
bro,
I've seen
I
people
remember they
do
said,
make mods fix it on Need for Speed 2015. So
I
as far
remember
as I'm
people-
concerned, if people are doing that, it's not a problem.
Oh,
I remember what people said about Frostbite.
I didn't know that.
They're like, oh, it works like an F1 car. And I'm thinking, oh, it works like an F1 car, but racing games feel like fucking the tires are filled with AIDS. Yeah, nice one, cunts.
that's not a nice thing to think about, but okay.
No, it's not. I hate it. When he says this, I'm like, I think I'm more shit. It's like, wow, what a game.
You know,
Bro.
now that I think about it, yeah, all of the. I wanted to talk very briefly about. I guess again the worst case scenario, not even worst case scenario, just my personal worst case scenario of if there is a Hot Pursuit 3, and why I think it would be great. I think it would be a step in the right direction if it's a well polished game and a good game, but I don't think I'd like it. And you know, I understand a lot of people love Hot Pursuit 2010, and I respect that, but I really honestly. I used to play it a lot on the PS3 because the online multiplayer was great. It still is great. The netcode is amazing. I remember I was racing CJ some months ago, and I could scrape by his car without knocking him into a different dimension. And that was pretty interesting. But like every complaint that I have is a personal one and has to do with something that they accommodated for. For example, the handling model is extremely sluggish feeling to me personally. I don't like it. It's really annoying for me. I got it again on PC for about $5, I think a year ago, and I just couldn't finish it. But that being said, all of the roads are fairly windy, and they designed the map around this so it doesn't feel frustrating, you know? You're not trying to scramble around a city square with the handling model the way it is. They designed it to accommodate for it. So that's why I think, and because there's no clipping, there are no major issues, I think it's a subjective thing as to why I think, you know, for that case. And I think that could be as to all of the other people who also don't like Hot Pursuit 2010 or don't like Hot Pursuit styled games. It's because of a personal preference, not because it's actually a bad game. And I think for a series, the right direction is to make a good product, not necessarily make what everyone wants. Yeah. And I understand that that's a weird take, but sometimes I think it's better, even if not everyone wants it, if it's good or if you have reasons for it being good, then it's a separate situation. So yeah, that's that. And again, Pursuit Tech, I really, really don't like Pursuit Tech, but it's not imbalanced. You know, I never lost a race and thought, oh, it's because of Pursuit Tech, or easily won a race and then thought it was because of Pursuit Tech. It's balanced. I just don't like it. And I think why a lot of people are upset in the community is because of things that don't appeal to them subjectively about games made by some people who are not even in the same studio, right? That are now going to be developing the game. So there's just like multiple points of kind of like a disconnect. So it's even more irrational to be upset about or to think that the next Need for Speed game is gonna, you know, be terrible and whatever.
I think
at least now
people
that I
feel
think
entitled a little bit as well. Like,
yes, absolutely.
It's not your game. If they want to go and make fucking Need for Speed 2303, they can do what the fuck. It's not your fucking game. Like,
yeah.
And I
If it
think
played
people
well, I
forget
wouldn't
that.
care
Like,
either.
I think people think that they're so invested and it's a game changer, this, that, and the other. Bro, they're the fucking their own studio. They're making the game. The creative lead makes the game he wants to make. That's literally, and
Yep.
EA make the game they want to make. There's no entitlement, like that's why it confuses me when people are so loyal to like sub brands and shit because they don't give a fuck about you. Like
they want your money.
They're making
Bro, it's a
they're
business.
doing it for money, bro. Like
Yeah.
that's why
It's like the
just how it
console
is.
wars. It's like the console wars when they
Yeah,
argue.
console wars.
And you're
Fucking retards.
But yeah, that's just another thing entirely, man.
Like,
Just
Yeah,
imagine.
no, they talk about the console wars like, oh, this is better, like they're getting the consoles for free. It's no, dickhead, you paid for that, or your mom paid for it, because you're fucking loser.
And they don't give a shit about you, so why should you be like
Yeah, honestly,
invested that deep into something
I
to make
think.
sense?
Sorry to interrupt, but I think that's actually a really brilliant business strategy. Get your brain dead loyal fans to argue for you, so you can just sit back and let the money roll in, and then they can convince other people. You don't have to do anything. You can just let
You're
your
talking-
stupid fans do all the work.
Yeah, FIFA fans.
literally.
FIFA fans.
No, but that's
Like,
what
my
needs
cousin,
to
like, tries to, like-
in the future.
Like, tries to do mental gymnastics to explain to me why, like, Ultimate Team, like, packs are not a literal scam. I'm like, cunt, you're a fucking loser.
Yeah.
Mental gymnastics.
Yeah, it is. Like, he'll literally be like, he's writing, like, a thesis, and I'm like, bro, like, the fact that you have to do, like, this much explanation to me, you're a fucking loser who gets scammed. Is what you are.
Yeah. I agree.
Like, you can be a loser and get scammed, but don't, like, try to rationalize that you aren't, like, spending horrifying amounts
It's like those
on
people
FIFA
who
card packs.
it's like those people recently who defend broken ass piece of shit games and tech and other all sorts of kind of things. Like you see the people who supported Fallout when it came out said, nah, it's not broken. And like what's their house burn down metaphorically. Same with Anthem, same with Payback, same with some people with Heat and again other things around the world, which is
No,
just
definitely
apparent now. It's just big, man.
I just don't get why people don't
Yeah.
want like I don't get why people's expectations are so low.
Also high.
Too. Well,
They're
I
not
think
high.
I think people had really I never really expected Heat to get a huge multiplayer update. I mean, it hasn't gotten any multiplayer up, barely gotten any updates at all.
Shit.
But like if there still is going to be updates, I'm expecting an extremely bare bones multiplayer. I mean, bottom of the barrel, the minimum amount of effort required. All signs point to that being the case. But
Yeah.
you know, I guess that's you know, I think people you know, sometimes expectations are too high, but also with them being so low, I think Heat is an okay game, but imagine if Need for Speed Heat, not in terms of graphics, obviously it wouldn't be possible, but if it were released in 2004, let's say, right? A game as buggy as it, as broken as, like, with clipping issues, and, you know, with the cops and weird damage control and everything, with your car's health, and no end game, no challenge series, nothing. Imagine if a game like that came out right after Underground, or something like that. Right? That would be insane. That would be insane. And the only reason I'm happy about this is because the past years of Need for Speed games have been horrible.
It's because of live service.
Like this is a game in 2020 that the year of the gamer.
Yeah,
that
the year of the gamer.
that has no multiplayer. There's no
It's not a real
multiplayer
game.
component to this game, and we're literally, and you pay for Xbox Live. Imagine if you pay Xbox Live and the only game you play is Need for Speed.
I don't. Whoever, if you do that,
You're being
already
scammed.
done.
You're literally being scammed. Like
Loser.
When your wallet is just way too heavy to carry around, you know.
I'll take
that's the
that.
one case.
Yeah, your wallet's heavy, but there's nothing in your fucking
people are out
wallet.
here
Go.
paying for PlayStation Plus and Xbox Live to play Need for Speed Heat.
Oh.
That happened in 2020.
Oh man.
Holy
That's
shit, you're
mad.
bro.
Yeah.
Let me just talk to those people. Get some help, please. Like, there's something there's something wrong in your life.
Jesus
Like,
Christ.
what?
I wanted to talk about multiplayer and Heat for a little bit, touching off of what you said about it really being a single player game. It's very subtle, but the way they separate it into single player and multiplayer, and also the fact that lobbies will randomly, oh, this lobby's closing in 10 minutes, you know? You see, now I just mainly almost always play single player. If I play multiplayer, it's for the extra 40% bonus, right? There's an
I've been
incentive.
doing that since launch.
They
Before the
have
game
to-
even fucking came out.
Like, the only reason people play online, besides the very rare cases of you want to play Heat online with your friends, is for that
Yeah.
bonus, right? They need that bonus, and even that isn't enough because I go online, I prompt a race,
What
and nobody
bonus?
joins it. Yeah, like the 40% money, which honestly, it's already so easy to
Oh,
make money.
I don't even-
No, that's funny because
But-
I remember some people like, oh, it's hard to earn money. I literally went from like 10k to 3 mil by
on?
accident.
You
I
get
went from 10k to 3 mil by
70.
accident
You get
because I was
70,000.
grinding events.
Yeah, you get $70,000 per race. What did Little Pump say? 1 times 70, 70. Exactly. So, like, here's the thing. I played Need for Speed 2015 a little while ago. I started out. I didn't have any plans for anything. I was like, oh, I just want to revisit the game. I find some guy who also comes out of the garage. He's in some car. He comes by me. We rev each other's engines, whatever. We race and whatnot. And it was just this completely seamless thing of I wasn't even planning on playing multiplayer, but then it happened and I was having a great time. That's not gonna happen in Heat. That just can't happen. And I honestly, as stupid as it sounds, the way that you go into 2015 and it starts out in multiplayer and you have to go pick a single player game later, I think that's a smart decision. That's a smart decision because then it
You know
brings
how
new
I see it?
experiences.
You know
that
how I
would-
see it between online and single player.
Yeah.
I see either I can play online without a pause button, or I can play solo with a pause button. And it sounds so
Yeah.
stupid, but genuinely, I'm always playing with the pause button.
Yeah,
Like,
same.
that's
I'd
literally what
rather.
it comes down to me. Like, I'm just gonna.
The
play
only
pause
time
button.
I've ever played online on Heat was like when I played with like Soul those times, and that's literally it.
Same.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, and again, with me, it's just been with other friends and whatever, but the game's online player base just isn't big enough for you to just randomly run into people and have fun like that. I think user-created lobbies in the style of Gran Turismo would be perfect, but that takes way too much effort for Ghost.
Of course.
Well, that's
you know.
another thing. Is like I don't know what the fuck they're gonna do if they put multiplayer in because no one's playing the game as it is. Like
Yeah, honestly,
you struggle to
Waste of
find
time.
full lobbies on
I
PC now.
don't quite know what they're gonna do.
The multiplayer anyway.
Nothing. Just fucking give up on it.
Yeah, I
Honestly, that would and from a business standpoint and from like how the fans feel about it, like might just be better just to
Leave it. Yeah.
not there. Just
Yeah.
what game?
Yeah, but if we're talking like business, yeah, 100%. They have to
Right.
release at least something though. I mean, we already know the body kits. Could you imagine if the body kits are the only things that come?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Uh,
Honestly,
Jesus
here's the thing.
Wait,
I
actually,
wouldn't
releasing
be-
body kits.
I
What
wouldn't-
body
Kaiser ones, the
Oh,
event.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Really?
who gives a
Honestly,
fuck?
Why are they
No, but-
giving the Land Rover a kit, by the way, guys? That's the
Land Rover.
the fucking
Oh,
Land Rover.
remember?
Land Rover.
Urban car
really quick,
culture,
real quick.
in it. Urban car culture.
No,
Land Rover.
no,
really quick.
not even urban car culture. Just why? Who wants that?
Really quick.
Also-
Sorry,
No,
but
no,
this reminds me
it's
of
fine.
when the Need for Speed Payback got the Aston Martin, what is it, the DB5 in the Firebird DLC,
Oh,
and then
God.
I think I don't know who it was,
And
but
James
some,
Bond.
yeah, some official was like, "Oh, we did a bunch of research. This is what players actually want. You know, the people wanting a RX-8 or Eclipse. That's just a meme at this point. Like, oh, this is what people actually want. That's the same energy with the land.
The meme is that they wanted a DB5.
Ben Moore, I remember, I posted that. I was like, I didn't know one wants this, and Ben was like, "You're better than that. Don't say that." I was like, across those lines. And I was like, "No, it actually isn't though."
My bad.
I'm sure
for
I'm
saying
sure
my
you did it
opinion.
To like not be a retard and actually,
He didn't say it wasn't quite to those words. It was to the effect of those words. I can't
Yeah.
remember exactly what it was.
Yeah, but
No, not to
also
the letter, but the
you could do
spirit of
something
it.
to the effect of the words of like actually do some fucking research. Like you can't weren't doing anything. You're drooling on yourselves.
Then
Yeah.
what if they did research, but it's in Zogon? So
Lost
I
in
bet you they saw
transmission.
like three. I bet you they saw like three meme ones about add Land Rover kit, and then they took it seriously.
no,
I
but
would not
also
be
the
surprised.
opposite.
I would not be
no, but
surprised.
also with the Kaisel stuff, they should allow people to like at least customize maybe the color release or something.
and you know what,
'cause
that's
then-
Yeah, that's so annoying. I
I-
wasted money on deluxe because I thought you could customize the cars with the kits, or you could
Same.
at least change
I
the
regret.
paint or the wheels or something. Now that
We
they're
can
just
mod them
sitting
for
there.
free on PC.
Yeah, you can mod them.
I was
but-
like, mod it.
Thank you for telling me now.
Yeah, bro. I've been modding this shit since day one, bro.
Oh yeah, you know
Yeah.
those
Oh yeah,
cars-
my game is so broken I can't unlock a certain fucking car because one speed trap don't work.
Oh yeah,
And then
yeah. That's
I
actually
I contacted EA 3-4 times and I said, sorry, we can't do anything, and then they fucking left it. Oh,
What a nice game.
Yo, hack their
fuck.
game, bro. Hack their
You
game,
should be
get the
embarrassed.
graphics hits, all of that. Like, yo, I'm out here adding subwoofers to my 350 just because I fucking want to. Like,
you're gonna have to
Always
help
gotta
me
do,
later, then, man.
Sooner or later, people are just gonna
I
mod in cars. They're gonna try to figure out a way to mod in just cars. Like, oh, here's one. What car do you want? We'll go make it.
that's also the level of customization that should be in Need for Speed. Is like subs in the back and like, there's no reason realistically in 2020. There isn't any reason in 2020
not even-
why they can't have
no, not
interior
even-
customization now. Like, no reason.
Yeah, because here's the thing. Like, you could the argument would be like, oh, that's thing from 2004. Well, why can't I gut my interior if I'm doing a race build?
Most
Yeah,
people,
Like things like that, or put in seats.
Take it all out.
also, so most old cars are from that age anyway. If you're getting like an old Jap car or something, and you're probably gonna do stuff like that anyway, like a sub. Unless you're like some
Yeah.
rich guy who's got a Lamborghini.
And also, I'm not a developer, but it can't be that much effort to add a cosmetic change to the inside of the car.
Again, even Super Street
But
did
I
that.
don't know.
I don't know
All
with
of this-
Frostbite
all of
3,
this
but I
is
know from
laziness.
Unreal 4, it's not actually that difficult, because I remember
All of
using it
this
like last
on-
year for
goes
my
by
fucking
laziness.
degree.
It's laziness from Ghost. I'm like sick of people like saying it's
Defeating
anything other
rich
than
cars.
sorry, but there's just no reason. Like, it's obvious which cars have old models and which ones are new models because
Exactly.
like
How they drive.
fitment isn't perfect or whatever. There's
Yeah.
just no reason why a lot of these things should be happening. It's complete laziness. The lack of progression from 2015 to Heat. There's just no excuse. Like, I just don't get it.
I hope this culture don't continue in Criterion when they sort that out.
It won't. It won't
I don't
because
think so.
it won't. Criterion, like, you should look at their socials. Just look at their socials. It'll tell
Yeah,
you
always
everything you know.
active.
Yeah,
And look
they're
at
always
fucking Need
active.
Speed socials. Searching over fucking.
we
characters on
we
the
already
video.
we already remember the
we
episode
already
where I
flamed that
went off
cunt,
of
yeah,
Max.
Have you guys
I-
played Battlefront 2 with the
I have not.
Superiority?
Nope.
Oh my god, it's so smooth.
Oh, you know I have.
It's
I played it
so
at my
smooth.
boy's place. It drives so like flies so fucking well.
It's so good.
Like imagine if
yeah.
you had that smoothness to like cornering with the car.
That's
And
too
I
much
understand-
plus, man.
But
There's
there
too
is
much plus.
transferable skills. There is transferable skills, like, all jokes aside, from space maneuver, like spaceships and cars. Like, there's transferable. They're both moving objects going through an interactive space, and it's smooth. It works. It's easy to pick up when you get straight in there, and it feels
Actually,
authentic. It feels authentic to Star Wars. Like, I don't know. It's only positive looking at that and then taking that, like, what they can take from that transferable wise to Need for Speed. It's only going to look positive. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and furthermore, you know, when I at least in your video when I saw footage of it, right? You see, with what Criterion is doing now, and again with Battlefront 2's air superiority, it looks and probably feels like a AAA experience, right? And that's been missing from Need for Speed. If you gave me Need for Speed 2015 Payback or Heat and did not tell me it was Need for Speed, I'd be like, this is a really impressive indie game. Wow, you know, for the for the 5 people that made this, yeah, it's pretty good.
No. Wait, don't be saying that. You're putting slander on indie games, bro.
Okay, no.
Indie games are fucking sick.
I mean, for
Yeah, I know what you
indie
mean.
racing
Even
games,
that
indie
honestly
racing
looks
games.
pretty decent
It doesn't
and
feel AAA, yeah.
in some
Yeah,
ways.
like obviously it's no like actual, you know, like it. Like, here's what I mean is, again, like with indie racing games, because they've been lacking a bit, and we've talked about that in the other episodes. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
not indie game. Even as indie games in general, Need for Speed is lacking quite a bit.
No, indie games are like legendary. A lot of them, like in recent time. Like this,
Yeah.
what is it? I'm gonna be Australia. I'm playing it right now. Into the Gungeon is like I think one of Steam's like top 10 like most highest reviewed games.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. It's
Same with
they-
Dead Cells,
they know
Dead Cells is like
Dead
number
Cells.
2 in Steam, I think, or might even be number 1 now.
I'm considering
If he
buying
was
it
on
again.
Steam, it'd probably get shot on 100%.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You know, real quick, I imagine if Need for Speed, not Heat, but 2015 came out in the early 2000s, with how unbelievably broken the handling is and the horrible cops and everything, right? The only reason I love it so much is because of the feeling it gave me that underground style racing is back, not because of the actual game, right?
Yeah, bring the vibes back.
Yeah, if you put it back there, it would have done horribly. They would have been like, "What happened?" You know,
Maybe go from underground to that, underground 1 to, and that was underground 2. The cars drive like
no, dude. If that was if 2015 was underground, then actually or underground was like 2015 with respect to execution. I bet they could have gone back to Hot Pursuit style games because they would have been like, actually, we tried this. Yeah, because I bet they'd have been like, we tried this.
People would not want underground after that.
Yeah,
it'd be the opposite.
You know. And it's just crazy. But also, I wanted to touch base briefly with people, again, going back to supporting names and stuff. You know, oh, if only Black Box were back. And, you know, they made some pretty great games in their time, right? But, again, it's a difference of who is in there doing what it is that they're doing, right? William Ho, the creative director of Payback, was a Black Box employee. Right? And in interviews, he talked about working on Most Wanted 05. You see, it's people need to stop thinking that because something has a certain name, it's going to mean that. There's no.
I want to make a point.
It.
I want to make a point for me.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
You know, like with BioWare now, it's now a shell of its former self.
Oh god, let's not talk about that.
And I want to go in a bit, but not too deep. Like a decade ago, you see everyone loved it. They made like one of like the best RPGs you could get with the Mass Effect series. But then since they were bought by, what's it called? They just got
I don't remember.
When they got more.
Did they make Anthem?
Yeah, that's what I'm about to go on. They become more corporate minded. That they start to like think more about money than actually experience and story stuff and just microtransactions. The game becomes shit, and that's shown now with Anthem. Like Anthem was in development for 5 years, but because of fuck ups, and we gone back to the drawing board millions of times and bad people getting really depressed and ill.
Wasn't it the creative leads changed like 4 times or some shit?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Like people are mad crunch and they got ill and stuff and had to like take therapy and take a few fucking months off, and then it just fucked up the game of what you have now. And now again, it's just the same company name. I think this is BioWare Austin. I think there's one in Vancouver, but it's nowhere near as good as it was back in the day. So people saying how Black Box would be good now. Honestly, I think it'd be the same as Ghost Wank. If it was, you know.
About that, right?
You said wank.
Wank. No.
Just the name.
You said that with vinegar.
With gusto.
And it was wank. No, but the funny thing about Black Box is when you said that William Ho was Black Box, you could say that like if anything, like if they were to come back, they might be like washed up. Like they might fuck it.
You know, I understand a lot of people really liked Need for Speed The Run, but was it underground level? Was it Most Wanted level? Was it Carbon?
Fuck no, but it was still really good though.
Right, and
But
again,
I don't think it was trying to be though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't mean an idea. I mean just, you know, an extremely short story, you know, and everything. And just a lot of people, I heard not everyone was a huge fan of the handling model, whatever. I don't remember if I had crash cams.
That was the first Need for Speed game on Frostbite.
Yeah. And you know, again, this goes back to a name does not mean what we might think it means. Right?
Yeah.
And we shouldn't make really any assumptions because who knows what's going to happen. But I do honestly, from what I can assume, although, you know, I can't assume with certainty, but just with just thoughts, I think this is a good thing that Criterion, with the merging and everything and all this and that and the other thing, I think it's a pretty good thing. I thought about it. I don't actually know, but it's okay. Honestly,
I thought about like
oh, go ahead.
the fucking high jump of conclusions and mental gymnastics that people do in this community with like Ghost. Fucking Olympics. The fucking Olympics.
Yeah. You know-
a cesspool of shit. Essentially.
Yeah.
That's full of shit. Oh my god. So you're
feel-
making me fucking. Where's a cesspool of shit? You know?
It's crazy.
Oh my
Crazy.
god. Max, bro. Making me. People are asleep in my house.
Whoops. You know,
It's crazy.
honestly, going quickly back to, you know, what if the next update is just the body kits and everything? I would not be that disappointed because I don't care anymore. I really do not.
Yeah.
I don't care anything about Need for Speed anymore. You know, about Criterion being the new, it could be good, but I don't care. I honestly, now that I think about it, like, does that really affect me? No, it doesn't. I don't care. I don't care that much if the next hopper, if the game is another hop, if it's a hop pursuit style game, it might be good for the series, but I don't care if it's if they came out with an amazing game, an actual good game, polished, has a great story, customization, you know, gameplay, everything, I still wouldn't care. I'm past the point of caring anymore. I just don't care.
As Dev announcing his retirement from the Need for Speed. As that's why the Vermin Sermon is not going to be any anymore, because you're like, fuck Need for Speed,
Honestly-
I'm done, boys. I'm done.
I'm
fucking done.
really close with just like racing games in general. I
Same, yeah, that's how I feel.
Same.
Like, I even talked to Cam, like, if I have thought about, like, what is it, making a YouTube channel, but it wouldn't be on racing games because I'd rather kill myself than do that. I'll probably do it on like high level
bro.
play with like, yeah, Russian roulette with 6 in the chamber. You know how it goes.
A Russian
he
roulette
never missed.
with the automatic gun.
Yeah. No, but I'll probably do. Yeah, I'll be like, I'll just do it on like high level play on like any game, any type of game, really. Maybe indie games because people find them hard. I don't. But yeah, I'd never do it on racing games. Fuck that. I respect myself.
Yeah, I need to get more into sim racing because I'm starting to get a little more interested in that.
That's fun. That's the racing I'll do. I'll do sim racing. That's just fun as hell.
Yeah, I just think.
Is the community in sim racing better? Ish.
Depends. It really depends. I've met people who are like, you know, I occasionally enjoy arcade racers, but I don't want to play them because it's not good for me as a like a race, you know, as someone who wants to like race competitively and everything. Like, so like you like these games, but you actively avoid them because you're afraid like your skills are gonna be, you know, that kind of thing. It really depends. It absolutely depends. I think in general, if you go in and you're excited and you're willing to learn, then it'll be great. I think so. But yeah, so again, it completely depends.
I the state of like, well, the need for fucking, but like just kind of the state of like most racing games. Like, just think about that. Like in 2004 on the PS2, the second most sold game was fucking Underground 2 and then the first was San Andreas. Yeah, it was. I remember because I actually have a fucking like a really old gaming mag from like 2004. I remember checking it. And they were like, yeah, there was the sales.
What
was the
crazy?
Underground 2 was number 2 and San Andreas was 1. I
mean,
what the
in
fuck?
numbers, do you know how much it sold?
To be fair, like if you ask people about Need for Speed, they'll be like, "Holy shit, I fucking loved Underground."
No,
2.
Underground 2.
Oh,
Like everyone played that game. It's one of those things.
Oh.
Yeah.
If you search it up, it will come up. But I know he undersold.
Yeah, well, I thought in
that's
an
fine.
earnings call it was that it sold about as well as expected. I guess maybe
No,
it sold a little bit.
It sold under, so
Oh, okay.
it was expected 5 million, but they didn't say what it was on the investors call. And now think about it from their perspective. The only reason why they wouldn't say what it is if it didn't meet the goal in it.
You know, this is really messed up. But what if I might have even been more disappointed if it sold well, if it just had good marketing. Because it had really bad marketing, no appearance at E3, etc. If it sold well, then we just got another set of years of disappointing games. Like, at least this is a chance for something. With Criterion being at the helm. It's a chance. Well, again, we don't know, but it's a chance.
I don't like chants like that.
Yeah.
You know, going back to just kind of my overall tiredness with arcade racers, I'm not gonna get deep into this. I know people like Forza, right? And that's cool. I personally have my personal issues with it, but whatever, right? That's one arcade racing game that's doing well right now. I would argue that it's doing well, despite what I personally think about it. I would argue that it's doing well, but that's just one, you know? You go to the early to mid 2000s, you had options everywhere, you know? You had Midnight Club, you had Need for Speed back when it was doing its thing. You had Burnout. I mean, you have remastered now, but that, you know, that was just a one-time thing as far as we can tell. You had Blur, you had so much other stuff. And the reason I just feel tired is because I can't do this, play the same games over and over and over again. You know, there's got to be. I'm honestly, I don't care so much about Need for Speed being amazing as I would if there would be new IPs, new developers, whatever. Do you get what I'm saying?
More games to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Like,
I mean, I don't even have
Shout
that
out
much.
Fast and Furious Crossroads.
yeah, talking
No,
about
no
body
thanks.
kits and shit. The fuck, the Tokyo Drift game on PS2 though.
That was I love that.
Mm.
I love that.
Jeez. They had like GP Sport, fucking they had the GT 300 kits for some of the cars. I was like,
I'm
huh?
pretty sure that developer made a Ford racing game as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Ford Racing.
I had Ford Racing 3? No, 2. No.
Three was
Yes?
a shit one. It was a good one.
2. It was on PS2. I don't know. It was an early PS2 game, I think. I was very young. It was one of the first racing games I had, and then it broke. The car kept veering to a side, and it wasn't a controller. Whatever.
I miss quite
first
like
ever racing game I played was
mid-price
Underground one.
races like that.
Yeah.
Like there's no market for that anymore. Which is
Yeah,
like
no,
shout out
no.
fucking Night Riders.
Oh yeah, but honestly, there are mid-price quality games
Night
for
Riders,
full
not Night
price.
Riders.
There are mid-price quality games for full price. You see, Heat is a really decent $20 game, I think. Maybe. Arguably.
I wouldn't pay. I'd pay 10 for it. I'd pay indie game price for that. For Heat.
I'd pay $3 for that.
I would still pay.
Well, to be fair, if we're being honest, I wouldn't pay fucking shit for that game. I don't really care.
I still
I'll just
enjoy
pirate
it, so
it.
I would. Yeah.
I
I paid
pirated
30 quid
Payback.
for Heat.
Yeah, guys, you hear that? I
Black Friday
pirated your
sale.
fucking game. So it wasn't as bad as I heard, but that's because I had zero expectation even when it was like getting debuted.
Yeah, I
Like-
remember. I was in a voice call with a bunch of you guys as Heat's announcement trailer.
Yeah, I remember that.
trailer,
That's where it came
And
back.
yeah, feelings are the same. I
The
wasn't
fucking
too
trailer
excited.
was shit. It
Yeah,
felt
was
like
like,
they
no.
stop and start. Like I knew exactly when I saw it. I was like, all right,
something's weird.
Yeah, no, I even
honestly-
said that. Like, I was like, what is this? Like, what's happening?
And even
Also, wasn't some of the content cut, like some parts of the trailer, like when there's a woman and you're facing an Evo or something in the garage or something like that?
I don't know. It's
whatever
possible.
car that
Also,
was.
didn't they show drag racing or something that gave me the impression of drag racing? I'm fairly certain there was something like that, but I could be wrong.
Horse cock
Um,
McGee's or that shit is.
I don't know. I don't. You see, I don't remember if there's something like drag racing because the trailer wasn't memorable enough for me to remember.
Neither. All I remember is Shaw was like in all black. They didn't reveal him yet, and he just screamed, "I said it right now." That's literally what I
Oh
remember
yeah,
from the trailer.
that gave me a really
And I
weird-
feel like a giant, but I'm 5'8" because ASAP Ferg. That's it. That's what I remember from that trailer. That shit sucked. That shit was ragu.
Man.
It's quite
Really
edgy, man.
disappointing.
And not
I
good
said
way.
right now, and like just edgy, not even like good vibed edgy, just like okay.
It doesn't feel. Need for Speed Heat tries to feel gritty, but it fails. It fails. Also,
It's because you've got a middle-aged man or whatever. It's a middle-aged
Need
man's
for Speed
ideas
Probably.
of that.
Need for Heat's story felt like a really shitty like crime drama on
it
TV.
tried. Yeah, it tries too hard. Just give me. I don't care if it's as cringy as 2015. You know. I just.
And that's
wanna-
funny about 2015. As far as that car culture and hooning goes, besides the actual cringiness of the actual detail in the story, that's
Yeah.
pretty much how it is. You meet up with
Yeah.
your homies and you go hoon.
Yeah, that felt realistic. It
Yeah.
it made you feel like, then
You're part of
What about when
something.
Spike tried to fight you? It's
Shut
like, relax, bro. Your leather fucking jacket, you dickhead.
And all of them are drinking fucking Monster.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh really? I wonder if they're sponsored by Monster. Fuck, I wonder.
Even like
Monster, hooligan.
you can even say compared to the old Need for Speed games like Carbon Most Wanted, the stories don't. In some ways, the stories don't feel as cringy or shitty compared
They're
to Heat.
definitely not. You know, I've heard the argument, and I've even supported it before that Need for Speed, their cutscenes have always been like this. No, they haven't. You know, look at
They
Travis.
haven't been shit. They've been like they've
little
been
bit.
like kind of cheesy and a
Yeah,
little like
but
edgy at
it's
times,
not-
but it's never been dog shit.
It doesn't make you hurt on the inside like 2015
Yeah, no,
cutscenes do. There's
Ooh.
still a
I
huge
skipped-
difference.
Which makes it like 100 times
I
worse.
tried skipping them. I'm like, just go. It's like, okay. And that was funny because I remember that was around the time when Risky Devil went from like some actual fucking hoon cunts to like kind of just radio silent.
Mm.
I have some of their really old videos that they actually deleted, and I was like, they're literally just kicking it back, just hanging out like normal humans and hooning.
Yeah.
Like, damn, Ghost, what are you doing? Yeah. Like,
One thing I like about the acting in Heat, they actually use like proper American people, not like B or C grade.
Yeah, no, my mom was watching
Like some guy from
fucking, like,
EastEnders in newspaper.
UK thing. I've seen both Travis and fucking Amy in shows that my mom watches.
Oh, okay. Really?
Yeah, because she was watching like these UK like they'll either be like some royal bullshit or not, and I'm like, wait, what? That's Amy, and I'll be like, wait, why the fuck is Travis
Mac
talking?
was in Dark Knight.
Oh, Mac! Yes, he was. That's what,
Tyler
I was
was
watching The Dark Knight. I'm like, why the fuck am I looking at Mac? What the
Yeah.
hell is happening?
But I'd rather none of the characters ever come back. I think they're all shit, and the only good one that's come for the past few years has been Travis.
Yeah.
Travis was
And that was a
Travis was
fluke.
interesting as a character, and it was a fluke. And that was funny because his storyline was like probably the best, but it's just because the cops were so bad, it didn't really matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh.
damn cunt, you sneaking away from your little youngins to do the
Anna's
stream.
alright, but the story's not believable.
Yeah.
Like, it's almost as believable as your house blowing up as soon as you walk into it in
Oh
payback.
yeah.
It's just not believable.
I would payback.
Yes. Oh god, I remember when that happened. I was like, huh?
Mercer
the
and
fuck?
Shaw are just.
I didn't know the house were terrorists.
Dude.
Little fucking
I
cartel.
don't want to say
bombing.
some shit that's gonna get me like in trouble, but like,
Go on.
yeah, they just need to allow themselves.
Allow.
It's like the way games kind of like you know when before Call of Duty Modern Warfare came out, they said it's gonna be deep, it's gonna be dark, it's gonna make you question your actions, it's gonna make you question
I
your
didn't question shit. I shot that.
morality. But then like no, I'm not gonna say in the spoilers because it could stop people from having
Yeah, no, neither. But like,
played it. But like there's like a decision which can make a massive difference, and it probably would link to the way you play the game and thing, but it just ends in too generic like end parts to the story, whatever way you choose. So that was a waste of
So
time.
basically,
And also the
if
fucking
you do
sexual
the bad thing,
has a
if
gun
you do the-
animation, which I
if you
don't
do the
understand.
bad thing, if you do the bad thing, it's game over. So you're forced to do the good thing, so it's linear, innit?
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, you know what would've been
that's
sick?
stupid.
what's
It's just-
that? If you
it's
had bad endings to games like that, where you made the wrong decisions, wow, you actually fucked up, and like you can't just restart to do it. You fucked up for real.
Oh yeah.
Like
That'd be
nothing.
interesting.
There's no real punishments for doing that. Then, like, if I did something wrong, like, surely down the line it comes back to bite me.
I think
Yeah.
Cyberpunk is gonna do that, but that's like another topic for another
Actually,
day.
remember Black Ops 2 when you got to shoot Raul Menendez and it's not, and it's actually fucking Mason.
Yeah.
So,
That
spoiler.
doesn't really. If you haven't played Black Ops 2 for now, I don't even
that's
know
long.
what's for you, bro. Like,
To be
don't
honest,
talk
I've
to
never
me.
played
Don't
it.
look at me. Block me, please.
Uh,
Like, even if you like, and here's the thing. Well, with that, like that, where people say, "Oh, I was gonna play it," I'm like, "What the fuck? Have you been in jail or something?" Like, if you really wanted to play it that badly, it's been out for that long, like, you would really have to be either. Well, the thing is, I would say you're deployed, but the thing is, like, when my boy went for basic, they had a fucking PS4 and we're playing Modern Warfare. the new one. So that's no excuse. Or like you were in jail. You were definitely in jail. You must have been in jail.
No, but you must see in the UK some mans like are allowed to. I mean, well, the sneak in technology and like have a PS4. And
Oh
stuff,
my
and see them on
god!
Instagram
Okay, yeah.
and all
I
that.
don't want to snitch on him, but you know, there's a drill rapper I listen to, and it's like, bro, why you have Red Dead Redemption on in your cell? And not even that. I was saying to my boy he like moved into this new flat. I'm like, his prison cell with the Red Dead Redemption on the Xbox 360. His prison cell is bigger than your flat room.
Oh.
Your room is literally worse than a prison cell.
Yeah.
That's peak, man.
Okay.
Yeah, flats here are dog shit.
I wanted to ask one question. This goes back to story and Need for Speed, real quick. Just to kind of wrap things up. But do you think for the next Need for Speed game, should the protagonist be like it was in 2015, Underground 2, Most Wanted, Carbon, etc.? Silent, doesn't really do much, but it makes you feel as if you are really in that person's shoes.
Self-insert, yeah.
I would say yes. I've heard a lot of people disagree, and they prefer.
I don't really give a shit.
Thing like, at this point, I don't care. If you asked me before Heat came out, I'd care, but what?
Even then, I still wouldn't care.
I just don't think story's that much of an important
It's
thing.
not that important, but it should have some presence. It has to, for it to be a solid game to provide context for your gameplay decisions.
It needs to give you motivation to finish the game. That's the only purpose the story serves.
Not even that. And I'll harken back to what I'm playing. Into the Gungeon. It doesn't directly tell you the lore, but the more you play through it, you realize what's happening.
No, but with Need for Speed, that's corny shit. Like fucking putting Olympic City on a sign outside of a fucking pond. Like that's the corny
and all
shit
the
they
people
do.
are like, "Oh wow, look at this!
Look at these Easter eggs." No, it's just corny and shit. Like just don't. If you're gonna do a story, do it properly, like the run tried to, or just leave it and just make it bare bones. And it's like. It shouldn't take that long to do a story for Need for Speed.
Yeah, you're right. And
Need for fucking Speed.
When at the last part of Need for Speed Heat, I don't care if this spoils it for anyone. I really don't care anymore. Like the way with the M3 GTR, that was so annoying because there's no actual thought behind it. It's just you get people's nostalgia boners up and
the M3 that car that was in the Need for Speed game. Do you remember that one? Do you remember that car that we made in the Need for Speed game?
Oh really?
Oh, you must know that one. The famous one that everyone knows.
I'm sick and tired of it now. I'm so annoyed with it. I don't know why.
As far as we know, the M3 is literally dead. We fucking totaled it Burnout style.
Yeah, and people are like, "Oh, this is something to the lore." No, there's no complicated lore of this happening. They put it in there. They put it in there so people would be like, "Oh my gosh, it's the M3 for the ninth year in the row."
If you say there's a lore for Need for Speed, you actually, bro, I'll give you a wiki how to tie a noose. Like, you need to go.
Okay, all right. Let's
I want to go on another tangent.
Crazy. What the hell do you mean? I've literally never heard anyone talk about the lore.
I want to go on a bit of another tangent, but do you remember when people who were bitching about like the way the hole on the bonnet is wrong, or the vinyl's wrong, or the little body kit is wrong, things like that. They were bitching about a car
we know
even use as much and all that kind of stuff. Like in the game now, I only play it once or twice.
Yeah, that's insanity.
It links back to the shit mentality of the fandom and like what's going on now
loyalty
of Criterion.
Yeah, I think
to a card that doesn't even exist in real life. I mean, like
it's not even real.
Yeah.
The virtual car. People have alliances to a virtual car, man.
You walk to school.
Oh my god.
I bet you don't have rights in that regard. I bet you on a video game. It's fucking crazy.
There's literally a genocide going on in China, and we're worried about a car that doesn't exist. Like, I'm just not even a joke. There's literal concentration camps in China, and we're sitting here arguing over a bonnet.
There's like a plague there. There's a potential world war, like some Cold War type deal in fucking Iran. And do you want to care about fucking Need for Speed?
No. But
loser.
But I think you know the person who introduced the car into the game. He's probably want to commit suicide because he realized he's like,
What podcast am I? Come on, like...
The Vermin Sermon.
It's the Vermin Sermon. What did you expect?
No, I'm thinking you must be wanting to commit suicide because
Wanker!
saying the word
AKA your
weird way.
old Discord.
Oh, sorry.
Oh my god.
All right, go
But
ahead.
I'm saying the guy whoever like designed it, if put in the game, he's probably thinking now, what the fuck have I done?
Oh.
What have I done?
Just committed a murder.
That's something he might want to just commit virtual suicide or whatever because of the shit he's done and like how it's affected the
I actually don't
game.
know what you're
in
talking
some
about.
ways.
Virtual
I
suicide.
genuinely don't know what you're talking about.
What is
I mean,
happening?
I'm saying, imagine the person you thought of like to introduce the GG on the game is probably thinking, oh, what the fuck have I done with the series?
I don't think
Oh.
it's that.
I don't think
he's
they'd
there,
wanna-
yeah. He's probably moved over to Criterion. He's probably chilling.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
probably chilling. Probably got a raise.
Actually, that's fair.
Oh man.
It's just mad to think about like how stupid things like these get a company bogged down because maybe instead of making that M3 or thinking how they can put it in the game, they could have done something else.
I remember people were comparing the M3's fenders because the fender was like the geometry was slightly different between the old game and then this one.
Or the sound or the
Uh,
RPM.
Yeah. I
That's-
cannot
Yeah.
deal with that.
Dickhead.
makes you want to
You're fucking
poke your eyes
dickhead,
out.
all of you do think like that. Yeah,
Shout
that's
out
good.
Reddit. Shout out Twitter for all that kind of
Rapist.
posts.
Yeah.
The R
community
slash
is-
the R slash stands for rapist.
Okay. All right. Before this gets used as evidence in a criminal case, I think we should round it up. So, this is a great episode. Again, I don't think there's really any concrete evidence as to what's gonna happen with Need for Speed. Me personally, I don't care anymore. We're all gonna die anyways. No,
Let's
that's just it. We're
go!
all gonna die, so it doesn't matter. Next Need for Speed
Come
Hot
on,
Pursuit
boys.
styled, we're gonna die. You're gonna die.
It's
We're
either
all gonna die.
Corona
Yeah.
or World War III. So
Yeah.
Ah, what about if you had both?
Chrono.
Chrono!
so anyway,
Well, it's Chronos.
Cam, do you have any last words? I was gonna say like, oh, plug your channel, but like, like,
no, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's
your
no fucking
44K
channel.
subs are, and oh yeah,
Struggling
and
YouTuber, Cam.
my 6 to 8 casual viewers, but yeah.
It's been an absolute honor being the first guest ever.
Actually,
on
no, you
Vermin
weren't.
Sermon.
No, you
Yeah,
weren't. I
I'm
have to
not
correct you.
upstairs.
You just went
Yeah,
after
right.
my boy Shazan.
But is he not part of the group?
Nah.
No, is a guest. That's why it's
Oh, I thought he was
featuring
part of the group.
and whatever and whatnot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nah, if you want to become
Well-
one of the boys, we have to jump you in.
I want to say
Oh, yeah.
thanks for having me as the first real guest.
Oh.
Oh, damn.
Shots
Yeah, that's what I've got
fired.
to say. I can't do my gun sound effects on the mic in it, so
Yeah.
so imagine me firing off like 4 gunshots here. Like,
Oh, Joe Budden style.
Oh man. All right. Well,
Microphone check 1, 2.
it was a huge honor having you. I hope we can do something like this again. It was great. We had a great discussion
I'm always lurking.
in the
I'm
trenches.
lurking. He's one of the 6 viewers.
Yeah.
Can't confirm nor deny.
Yep. There is no concrete evidence on this.
True.
In any case, this is great.
That IP logging.
I guess we'll see you guys in the next one.